Hello everyone and welcome back to Southern Wealth. I hope you guys are doing very well. If you do enjoy the content, please consider dropping that like and subscribe. So, volatility has subsided. Last video I talked about when the tariffs on computers and cell phones and the likes were lifted. I mentioned, in my view, like everyone was saying, oh, he's caving. I said, minute 30 of my previous video. Expect to see investments of companies like Apple, Dell, and the likes in the US. Guess what? Less than 24 hours later, Nvidia is announcing a $500 billion investment plan in the United States. Surprise, surprise. If you follow this channel, you weren't. For all the others, it comes as a huge surprise and shock, and everybody can believe it. Today was Honda shifting a lot of production of cars from Mexico and Canada into the United States. But once again, nobody's really paying that much attention to it at this stage. It's all about the trade deals, the tariffs, the uncertainty, blah, blah, blah. So volatility has subsided, which is normal after a big period of massive volatility. We're talking about levels of volatility that we didn't see since the worst day of the financial crisis and since some of the worst days of the zombie virus back in 2020. So now it's normal that we take a pause, and I think the next big items on the agenda that will have impact over the next few years will be the tax bill. So how much tax cuts they're going to happen, how much is going to be corporate, how much is going to be for the people making 150k or less, etc., etc. So we need to see what's going to happen on that. As you guys know, the only thing that really concerns me at the moment is the situation between US and Iran. Apparently, the first conversations went very well. I think there are more this week. I hope they go very well as well. I haven't seen many people talking about this. I think this is way more important than anything else at the moment, because the tariffs, they will, Canada already proposed to go to have a trade deal. The Europeans have also been in Washington for a trade deal, and I think with even in China, with China, there's eventually going to be a trade deal at the end. And once again, I keep my position as it was from the get-go. If the trade deals that are coming, and I think the first trade deal announcement will happen this week. I don't know the country, that part don't ask me, but I think the first trade deal announcement will happen this week. I think what's going to happen is quite simple. So let's go to the situation we have today. So the situation today is what? People that hate Trump is everything is a debacle, everything's going to zero, he's caving on everything, there's no strategy, blah, blah, blah. People that love Trump say he's playing 5D chess, he's playing everybody as a fiddle, and he will annihilate everybody else with his planning, particularly China. I think it depends. It's really that simple. Nobody can say that it's a success or a failure at this moment. It's as ridiculous as if you think the rest of the world is winning. It's like saying, oh, this game is done because this team is winning in the first quarter of the game, so I don't need to watch the rest of the game. If you think Trump is winning, it's the same mentality. Oh, he's winning in the first quarter of the game, I don't need to watch the next 3 quarters. The reality is, it depends. If they get to some trade deals in which the American situation improves versus what they have today, then it's a big success. If it doesn't, it's a big failure. It's very binary. It's very, black and white. If other countries remove their controls, if the US manages to keep some tariffs in place, if it comes with investments in the US, for example, if it comes with better partnerships in those, I don't know. We need to see. Anything that improves the current situation, which is high tariffs for American goods into those countries, anything that improves that is a good success. And then it depends with which countries. As I said, you have like we have like 10 regions that are really key, and then the rest is a little bit less relevant for both sides, for a very good deal and for a bad deal alike. Then Bitcoin is close to 84,000, Ethereum is above 1,600. The money supply has been exploding, particularly in China. So we have the pieces well placed for us to start seeing some movements, particularly around the second quarter. So between now and June, basically, we should start seeing some good movements. I think the US will eventually buy Bitcoin. If it does it with tariff money, if it does it with revaluing gold and buying Bitcoin, if they do it with cutting something on one side and doing on the other, that part I don't know. But I think eventually that will happen. That's my feeling. Now, is it going to happen tomorrow? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it will take a couple of months for us to see it. 21st of April is the deadline for the SEC to appeal the case against Richard Hart and the Pulse Chain, PulseX, and X and incentive token. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen. My feeling is that the case is going to be dropped. We'll see. But basically, we are a little bit waiting on that, and we need Ethereum to move really bit more decisively. As I've said, there are so many short positions with Ethereum above 3,000 or around 3,000 that if we ever get there, you can really jump into the 4,000, high 4,000s very quickly, just by the amount of shorts that there are. Even if you don't include the natural buying, if we get to those levels. Yields have dropped a bit, which is good. The dollar is rising, which is normal. It had a very big fall, so to have a little bit of a recovery is also good. As I've mentioned, the 10-year yield was starting to reach certain important levels. So far, it has been rejected from those levels. It is a simple move back before it goes up. We don't know. We have to wait and see. Let's hope that it's a very big rejection. The Fed should have been printing. It should have stopped QE already. Should have been cutting rates. Should have been doing actually some QE. But once again, Powell is always late to these things. And if you look at inflation in Europe and in Canada, it's dropping just like in the US, and rates are going down. But I thought all the economists told me if you drop rates, then inflation goes through the moon. Apparently not. So once again, by the way, what has India been doing as of late? Cutting rates. Where is the Indian inflation? Lower than expected in March once again. But I thought that these experts and economists, they all told me that if that happens, inflation will go rampant. Well, apparently not. There were some rumors that Vietnam was talking about joining the BRICS nation, etc. And it's always the same thing with the BRICS. The BRICS export, more or less, all the countries export the same things. So who buys from whom? You see, you need to have a good consumer base before you can really start to do it. And by the way, it's quite funny that none of the parties minimally trust each other, and particularly their currencies. So I am not so, oh my God, the BRICS are meeting, as most people are, but usually they have to create content to talk about something all the time. So everything is always a debacle and a disaster. Sure. So tax bill will be key. All of this will bring liquidity into the markets, and that to me is the most important. There's only one way forward. At these interest rates, the US cannot live with this level of debt. Not just the US, by the way, most European countries in general, Canada, Australia, etc. So basically they need lower rates. So it's time to print. As for the trade deals, stay tuned for any developments. I think there's a good chance we're going to start seeing some fireworks on that department starting this week. And let's keep it short today. There's really not that much happening in the markets. Thank you very much for your support, guys. Don't forget, like and subscribe is the only thing that I ask. And I'll catch you in the next one.